It's time to sip the coffee and spill the tea on Talking with 3D Live. Here's your host, Derrick Dixon.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of Talking with 3D Live. I'm your host, Derrick Dixon, and this is where we always sip the coffee and spill the tea. Listen, before we get started, do me a big favor. Make sure that everybody is engaged right now to Talking with 3D. Click it, love it, share it, do all those things, and make sure everyone has subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, do it now. Click that button and leave comments. We love to hear from you. So leave a comment so we can get back with you. If you'd like to be a part of the show, do me a big favor. Email me, talkingwith3dlive@gmail.com. That's talkingwith3dlive@gmail.com. And always, this is an ElleRays film production. So thank you for tuning in. We have an exciting guest here today. I've met him for the first time today, and I'm so excited just to get to know him, get to talk to him. Amari Yarbrough is in the studio today. Amari, nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me. Nice to meet you as well.
I'm really excited because I work in the school system.
Okay.
So I have a passion for, and plus I'm a writer. So I have a passion for authors. I have a passion for readers.
Yes.
And our education of teaching and making sure that our children are reading.
Okay.
You know,
all the things I'm passionate about.
All the things. And you know, I just think that in these time of days, we need that.
Exactly.
And to see, you know, I know you and your sister Sherelle work together to make sure of your the books and everything that you have put together, and we're going to be talking about those as well.
Okay.
So I want to tell my watchers
a
little bit more about you.
Sure.
All right?
Sure.
So Amari, born and raised Baltimore City, middle of 5 siblings. Amari gained an interest for reading and writing at the age of 4, being introduced to Dr. Seuss books.
Yes.
One of my favorites.
Yes.
You know, anything Dr. Seuss.
Yes.
I love it. Now an author of, is it Enigma's?
Enigma's Child.
Enigma's Child, and 2 children's books, Bruno the Morkie.
Yes.
And the ElleRays series as well,
yes,
correct?
Correct.
You're also a professional. He's a coach, a writer, author. Ladies and gentlemen, Amari Yarbrough.
That sounds really good. I didn't know I did all that. That was a pretty good. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Did I write that? Or was that my publicist?
Well, you know, I'll be looking up stuff and finding things. I don't know. I ain't gonna give her all that credit. But she did send me a little bit of something.
Okay. All
okay.
Right. Nice.
So listen, I was doing a little studying, and then I was asking myself, because of technology today, everything is microwave, everything is on the internet, everything is computer.
Yes.
Do kids still pick up books and read them? It was, you know, a question that I have for myself. And then reading, it said that yes, but the frequency of reading for pleasure has declined, with a fewer children reading almost every day. Kids struggling with reading, 40% read below the basic level.
Yes. And
64% of 10-year-olds failing to meet reading comprehension standards.
Yes.
You know, where did we do, you know, I don't say go wrong, but that whole scenario, how do you feel like that's changed?
How that's changed? Well, to start it off, growing up I'm from the west side of Baltimore. That's where I was born and raised. I came up in the 80s. And I didn't know at the time that the things that I was getting in school, the education, and the guidance from my teachers, things like knowing how to read, reading comprehension, math, I didn't think that any of those things was a flex. I thought these were things that everybody did.
Right.
And, you know, as I got older, went on to university, graduated, came back home. Over time, you know, as I got more into the children's book writing and started doing some research as about like our target demographic and, you know, who we wanted to reach, I started seeing these articles, and it's like, you know, kids are struggling, like you said, excuse me, kids are struggling with just basic reading, basic reading comprehension. And, you start looking at things like, okay, well, what has shifted? What has been the shift? And, you could point to a lot of different things.
Right.
Some might point to, the No Child Left Behind with George Bush.
Yes.
Some might point to the changes in the curriculum that they made, with, getting away from things like phonics and sounding words out and trying to simplify things so they could, please everybody, and no kid would feel that they were different because they couldn't do what the other kids did. When we were coming up, you had different groups. There was what we called like special education versus like, the students who were just like, I guess like the quote unquote regular kids. I think they started caring more about people's feelings than they did about what the bare necessities was and what they needed and what was necessary to make those things happen. It's all speculation. I don't really know, but I am shocked and surprised that particularly with Generation Alpha, who is pretty much our target generation, Generation Alpha and beyond, the struggle that they have with reading, the struggle to get them to read, but it's because they're so they were born on devices.
Yeah.
And, they are, anything, they know words because they hear them all the time, but to actually read those words is a completely different thing.
To recognize them.
And to be able to recognize them, yes, as well. Yeah, so I don't know. There's a lot out there. We're still doing our own research. You probably will see me in previous interviews reference Rowan Fryer, who is an economist and former professor who has extensive research on this subject and this subject matter. And to long story short, his thing, it all comes down to common sense. We know what to do. We know what's necessary to do. We as a society just aren't willing to put the money and investment to make it happen.
Right.
Hard stop right there.
Right.
But we're still figuring it out.
I was reading also in 2025.
Okay.
You launched your first ever reading competition.
Yes.
With your sister Sherelle.
Yes.
Can you share me some more about that? What were some of the highlights of a reading competition?
So a reading competition was something I, again, participated in Baltimore City. Back then it was called the Dramatic Reading Competition. And I believe it was a statewide competition. And it was... now,
is a reading competition, not to interrupt you, is a reading competition kind of like a spelling bee competition?
In a sense. So dramatic reading, kind of think of it almost kind of like slam poetry.
Okay.
So, but instead of doing like, you're acting it out, you have your choice of what you want to read. And it's like, you're now the narrator. Like if you, like a Dr. Seuss, or if we watch like Cat in the Hat or How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and you hear the narrator and how they use intonation and inflections and tone and moderation to kind of, carry the text along and carry the story. So what we do, so the dramatic reading competition was that, either your teacher helped you pick it out or you pick it out, and you get behind the podium and you have a certain amount of time to interpret this section, this story, this poem, this prose, whatever you choose. And you get rewarded for it. So instead of it being like it's like an alternative to an athletic competition.
Okay.
When I looked around the last couple of years, I realized that competition doesn't exist anymore. And I talked to my sister, who, as you mentioned, is my co-author and co-creator. And I was like, hey, I think I figured out a way that, one, we can expand our demographic, but as also make a statement and begin to get kids excited about reading again. And I was like, let's bring back the dramatic reading competition. Not everybody's athletic.
Right.
So it will give them another aspect, another goal to shoot for. And I'm like, what parent doesn't want bragging rights to say that, hey, my kid was the top reader in the city for, 2024, 2025, whatever.
Right.
So that was the goal for us we want to make reading exciting again. We wanted to expand our demographic. And we want kids to know that reading is right. It's cool to know how to read.
Yes, it's needed.
Yes.
It can be fun.
Yes.
It's as long as we make it fun.
Exactly.
And
it's up to us, right?
And I think that even working in the elementary schools that I work with, that kids they love to read. It's exciting for them.
Yeah.
And especially by us giving them that encouragement to want to read and be make them a part of the story.
Right.
Make them a part of the story. I think that's very important.
No, that's very important. And one of the other things that we stress is that I was a former athlete, but what my coach always told me and what I tell my students is that, sports is a lot of times the majority mental and less physical. So it might be more 95% mental than it is physical. And this type of competition really focuses in on that mental. Because when the kids, so for our competition for Raise Up, Read Up, and Raise is spelled RAYS,
Okay.
because that is the name, that's kind of a play on our brand, which is the ElleRays series. Raise Up, Read Up, we focus on the mental. The kids have to pick a chapter from one of our books, and that will be what they read or what they interpret.
Okay.
And because the books are written like a Dr. Seuss, they have a Dr. Seuss or performance flow that I like to call to it. It's not as easy as you would think. Even as someone who wrote the book,
Okay.
as a practice and to kind of give kids a guide, I said, Mike, there's a certain type of cadence and flow you have to have for this.
Right.
It's like a rapper or a singer. Two people can sing the same song, but it can sound completely different.
Yeah.
And when kids learn that and we tell that to them, they're like, their eyes open up. It's like, oh, wow. And then they understand. It's like, yeah, you have to practice this. You got to practice this. Like, the more you practice, the better you'll get.
Right.
Like, we want you to practice to the point where you kind of almost have it memorized. You don't have to look down at the book, but we will allow you to bring the book out.
Okay.
And the first competition we did was at Francis Scott Key Elementary Middle School over there in South Baltimore to kick off the program, to launch the program. And that was in May of last year, 2024. This year, we're going to do the competition again in May for our elementary school kids, 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. But this year we have a pilot program, which we call Raise Up, Read Up with the ElleRays, from Gen A to Gen Z for our high school kids.
Okay.
And we will be kicking that off at Poly, or Baltimore Polytechnic Institute, on March 25th, 2026 for our high school kids.
Love it.
So we got a pretty busy year this year.
Yeah. You've talked about the Generation Alpha.
Yes.
And then I know that your nieces
Yes.
are a big influence.
Yes, they are.
Generation Alpha.
Yes.
And they have become, now tell me about the ElleRays, because
Okay.
the ElleRays are superheroes.
Yes.
Superheroes. And are they based off of your nieces?
Yes.
Off your 3 nieces.
If I have to, if you look at an image here from one of our books, so if you see here, so these images here, so you have the big sister whose name is Ari or Ariel. Then you have the second sister whose name is Bree or Brielle. Then there's the third sister who is Lily or Liliel. Now, these are essentially kind of the images. These are my nieces.
Okay.
These are the image of my nieces, or Sherelle, my sister's daughters.
Okay.
And I got the idea to create a superhero character using their images because of, I look at them and I'm like, they are superheroes themselves, when they were really little girls.
Yeah.
But the thing that did it for me was we have a group family text chain. And one summer my sister sent just dropped a picture of my nieces, like she typically does. They were all sleeping in the bed together. And when they were sleeping in the bed together, but they were all holding hands. And I was like, that's interesting. Now me, I've been into writing and reading since I was 4.
Right.
I'm always looking for the next story, the next idea or something. So when I saw that, I was just like, hey, I said they're like little witches getting their powers. And then from there, it kind of just grew into, I thought about, well, who are, the top female superheroes?
Right.
And then I started going down that rabbit hole and I'm like, well, there's not really a lot of female superheroes. Definitely is not hardly any of color.
Right.
So I started asking people who are your favorite superheroes? Who's your favorite superhero of color? Color comes back Storm. I'm like, anybody else? Favorite female superhero. Or there's Wonder Woman. I'm like, who else do you like? And we couldn't really get past 3.
Right.
So I was just like, look, we had our characters we loved growing up, the generation before us. But I was like, who does Generation Alpha have? And from there, kind of the ElleRays was born, and I decided to do it as a kind of like a children's book early reader, because when you get them when they're young and they're developing and their brains are like sponges, they won't forget it. And so I was like, I want to kind of, really, I want to expose them as early as possible to the idea of females being superheroes, to it not being, unheard of that the superheroes are girls of color and that they are strong. And, the earlier, especially with young girls, the earlier you empower them, the better.
Yeah. And I was just about to ask you that, how does that make your nieces feel, knowing that the image of the book comes from them, and how does that empower them? How does that now change the way that they see themselves?
Oh, they don't care.
They don't care.
Once the money starts rolling in, then they don't care.
They're like, where's my change?
I know. Initially, in the beginning, you know, they were really excited. They're still excited about it.
Yeah.
My second niece, Bree, she actually is very much into anime and drawing. So what I see happening is that eventually she is going to take this over as she gets older.
Okay.
She's going to be the one to carry this forward for the next generation. They love the idea of seeing themselves on the wall. But I think it hasn't, because it's still kind of young, it hasn't quite set in yet.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because that's what I expect.
Yeah.
That's the trajectory I expect when a child is developing. You know, and then when they get into their 20s or 30s, they'll look back and be like, oh wow, like this was real. I think about like,
Or that we've made a change.
yes, exactly.
You know, we've influenced.
Right. It will kick in later. You know, it hasn't quite kicked in now, but it's like I just keep feeding them the images.
Yeah.
You know, as long as they're getting the images, you know, subconsciously it's doing something for them.
Yeah.
And it will resonate later on.
And words are powerful. So
Yes.
as long as that we are saying these words, they're as like affirmations,
Yes.
then they become
Yes.
what we are telling them.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You come from a close, tight-knit family?
Yes. I'm one of 6. I'm number 2. My mom and dad met in high school, Frederick Douglass High School, also on the west side of Baltimore. So yeah, very, very close family. Even though a lot of us, you know, we live in different cities and things like that. Like I said, we have that family chain, that group chain. We're on that thing every day, all day, like it's Microsoft Teams.
I know that you and your sister are really close.
Yes.
You and Sherelle. That you guys, one time that you guys dressed up and you thought you were Yarbrough and Ashanti.
That's what people said. Yes, that was the running joke. Yeah, she used to always get called Ashanti. She hated it back then. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, this is fascinating too, besides being an author,
Yes.
writer. You were a former competitive figure skater.
Yes.
Tell
Yeah.
me about that.
So I started. If we go back to the good old 80s, 1988. Debbie Thomas at the Olympics, first African American to be in the Winter Olympics,
Yeah.
and then the first to medal. So at that time, it was like all the parents, you know, just representation and seeing things. All the parents were trying to get their kids in the ice skating. You're going to be the next one. So my best friend, his mom signed him up for group lessons at Northwest Ice Rink over in Mount Washington,
Okay.
right off of Falls Road.
Yeah.
And she said you could bring a friend, and so he brought me along, and from there, it was kind of like the rest was history. My mom told me when I went there, don't take any lessons because we can't afford it. His mom ended up signing me for lessons anyway.
Wow.
And it just kind of went from there. And it was a good thing because it became an outlet for me. During a pretty rough time period. Because if you know the history of Baltimore, and when in reference to some of the things we had with drugs and crime and stuff like that,
Right.
you know, kids needed an outlet. Like that was my outlet. So yeah, I skated competitively, then I skated professionally, and then for the past probably now almost 20 years I've been coaching.
I grew up in Denver, Colorado. I knew
Okay.
how to ski.
Yes.
We went out ice skating,
Uh
and I put those skates on,
huh.
and I returned them back. Ice skating is something that I never could master. I
Right.
can roller skate,
Yeah.
I can ski, but ice skating, I just never, I didn't get it. I don't understand it.
It's an acquired taste. I was always attracted to things that I thought were different, things that pretty much probably things that were a challenge, and if you ask my parents, things that we couldn't afford. So it was no surprise that I chose one of the most expensive sports
Yeah.
to try and compete in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's an acquired taste, but it requires a lot of skill as well. It's an elite sport.
It teaches a lot of discipline.
Yes,
A lot of
a
discipline.
lot of discipline, a lot of life lessons.
Yeah. So the ElleRays, we know that was birthed from you and your sister Sherelle,
Yeah.
being the author, co-author, and from your nieces, her girls. Tell me, how does Raise Up, Read Up, how does that build confidence? What is the goal of Raise Up, Read Up?
So our slogan or subtitle or saying for the Raise Up Read Up is when you raise up readers, you raise up leaders. And so, again, when you start off early on and you get into, you really appreciate stories and storytelling and the art of story and storytelling and being able to look at words and be able to not just take words for face value, but able to kind of really dissect what's on that page. And then you have 5 different people who have 5 different interpretations and you guys are able to discuss this. It's such a powerful lost art that it sets you up for everything else that you are going to experience in life. You know, so it is the art of reading and the art of, you know, the art of reading along with the art of dialogue. It's regardless of technology and how far we've come, I don't think we'll ever be able to replace that.
Yeah. How do schools benefit from Raise Up, Read Up?
Well, so far, so what we do with the schools is it costs nothing for the schools. So right now a lot of what we've done has been out of pocket, but since we are now converting to a nonprofit status, we're hoping to get funding, locally, probably as well as nationally. But the schools benefit because it gives them a chance for their kids to participate in something and be acknowledged for something that they probably would have felt was a task or a chore, because we give out cash prizes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
how old do you have to be? Because I'll come read a book.
So for like this past competition, our third, fourth, and fifth graders, it was 50, 75, and 100. That was a tier.
Okay.
You know, the top winner from each group. They get a trophy as well as they get a certificate from the mayor's office. Okay. And when they saw that certificate from the mayor's office with their name on it, they was like, oh wow, like, you know, this is amazing. So for our high school kids, they're competing for $300 for the top prize. Okay. But schools benefit because I think it validates the message that they are sending the kids about the importance of reading, and that it shows that, no, this is not just a task. Yeah. You know, this is not something we're forcing you to do. Yeah. Like, this is something that's going to open doors for you. And it allows them to, you know, give their kids a chance to compete outside of sports and get acknowledged for it.
Wow. I know if my assistant, Jaden, if he is close by, there's a receipt on the table that I need real quick. So can he hear me? I need that receipt. There's a receipt right there. But I know that you are a close family. And is he out there? All right. So I know that you're a close family.
Yes.
And I just want to know if I said these words, what would it mean to you?
Okay.
Okay. So if I said temporary layoffs.
Good times.
Easy credit ripoffs.
Good times.
Scratching and surviving.
Good times.
Hanging and jiving.
Good times. Now there's been some controversy about that last line.
I heard that.
Okay.
Yeah. And ain't we lucky we got them?
Good times.
Tell me what's I read that off your post. That's where I got it off your post.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Okay. I said that too?
Yeah.
I've got a good publicist.
Yeah. So tell me about the good times sharing with your family, reading books. You come from a family, siblings of 6.
Yeah.
What was that all like? Did you guys sit around reading and enjoying just that family dynamic?
Yeah. I used to read to my mom until she fell asleep. And I remember, even as I was 3 or 4, like, I'm reading one of the books, Curious George. And she's sitting there, she's dozing. I'm like, Ma, you sleep. It's like, no, I'm just resting my eyes. It's like, okay, all right, cool. But for us, we didn't have a lot. Yeah. And at the time that I was growing up, I didn't realize we didn't have a lot. I thought we were very rich because what we had each other. We never went hungry. Mom and dad, were always, what they presented was love. And we got along with looking back now, people would consider the bare minimum. Right. A deck of cards, a lit candle, a book or that we could sit around and read and pass around. We were very wealthy and I didn't realize it. Yeah. But yeah, and that we still had the same mentality to this day. We're not aspiring to be rich or wealthy or be these big household names and things like that. We like making an impact. I love the look on kids' faces when you're working with them and they learn a big word for the first time and they're able to say it and they can say it with confidence. The little things were always the big things for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a lot of good times. It was a lot of, despite anything bad that happened, you know, we had a lot of good times.
But don't you think that even, you know, being the impact and no, you're not looking for this, but don't you think that it's important, especially like for your nieces,
Yes.
just to know that my family started this movement
Yes.
so they can carry it on.
Definitely.
You know, we want them, the next generation, that generation alpha,
Yeah.
to carry this on and it not to die.
Right.
How do you encourage them? We've got to keep this movement going.
One word comes to mind is consistency. And that is, despite how I may feel or not feel, times I might feel tired or discouraged, times I might not feel that I'm making as much of an impact as I would like, you know, I can't let them see that. I have to consistently show up and consistently act as if this is going to be one of the greatest things, one of the most life-changing things, and it's going to be because of them as well. And they have something very important that they're going to take on. So for me, the easiest answer is this: continue to be consistent. Because they're always watching. Even when we think they're not watching, they are watching.
Watching and listening.
Watching and listening. So if I say something negative, or if I say something discouraging, or if I'm doubting myself, or if I'm like, they'll pick up on that. So I just have to continue to be consistent. Always be consistent.
How do we join this movement with you?
Well, we've got a couple of places you can follow us. The ElleRays.com, and that is ElleRays.com. You can also go to RaysUpReadUp.com. Rays is spelled RAYS. So RaysUpReadUp.com. You can follow me on social media. I think it's Amari at Amari365. I'm working on getting better at social media. You know, that's why I'm showing my age there, because I'm like, I used to be really active, but that was on MySpace. You know, and I can't get back into that account. So at Amari365, and you can also follow. They're at the ElleRays pretty much X or Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram at the ElleRays.
Gotcha.
You search at the ElleRays, Amazon. You'll find them. So yeah, we're there online.
And where do we find the ElleRays?
So right now the ElleRays.
Show them?
Sure. So we've got these 4 books in no particular order, although there is a particular order.
Have these?
We are on Amazon.com. So if you go to Amazon.com and you search the ElleRays, we currently have 4 books in the series. And each book is about 100 pages of full color. Has 3 chapters in it. One of the first books, probably the only children's book that actually has chapters in it. And we have book 5 coming in next month in February. And every 6 months we put out a new book. So every 6 months.
6 months.
It's a whole saga. It's a whole experience with the ElleRays.
So it's an easy read.
I would say it's an easy read. Yeah, it has a nice, easy flow to it. A Dr. Seuss flow. I'm gonna call it.
Very Australia. How do you say it?
Illustrated. Yeah. Full color illustrations
on the camera
on every page. Yeah.
So very nice.
Thank you.
Now, who are these people that we're looking at?
So those are the ElleRays. That's the mom and the grandfather, the mother's father. Who was also kind of based on Sherelle and then my dad.
Gotcha.
You know. It's like we don't have to go far for inspiration in terms of our characters, because they're already there in the household.
And then this is information on.
That is information on Raise Up, Read Up, and our competitions, and how to sign up, and how to join our mailing list, etc.
So listen, I think that again, what you are doing, you are going to be a big name. You are going to be a big name. Because this is something that is needed.
Yes, it's very much needed.
And we need to get more of this in the schools. We need to get more of this in the communities. Because there's so many communities that can't afford to go to Amazon. You know, and we need to get these books in their hands.
That's our plan, yes.
And we need them to be because there's so many children that want to read.
Yes, you're right.
And we stifle them because of the fact they can't afford it. You know? So how do we get your books in the libraries at the schools?
And that's another thing we're working on. That's why we really want the donations. So we can, like, when the kids sign up for the competitions, you know, it's like, we want to make it so you don't have to pay out of pocket for the books. You know, we'll donate the books. We just want you to show up. Show up, read up.
So we want you to show up and to read up.
Yeah.
So support the ElleRays, support Raise Up,
Raise up, read up.
Read Up.
Yes,
You
sir.
have to support Raise Up, Read Up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Amari Yarbrough. So please make sure that you follow him, his sister Sherelle, co-author of the ElleRays. And we want to get this information out there to the schools, to the children, to the libraries, because we want everybody to be able to read your books, read your favorite books, and become that superhero that you've always thought you couldn't be. We want you to be, because it's within you. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate
we
you.
have
Thank
to
you for having
follow
me.
up of what you're doing.
Almost definitely.
And just, I want to be there to support you.
I got you.
I want to be there to support you.
Most definitely.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to Talking with 3D Live. We're here every Monday, 7 p.m. right here on iRose Films. Go out. Make sure that you show yourself self-love and love somebody else intentionally. Go out and enjoy your life. And we say peace.